3 months ago, Kristaps Porzingis skipped an exit interview with the Knicks out of frustration for his team's dysfunction. But after a front office reshuffle, hey, guess what? He's recently come back around on being a Knick.
Yes.
While answering a question at a Latvian basketball camp, his quote was, I feel that it is the best place to win.
Latvia?
And if you win in New York, you are king. For the last 2 years, I have had so many positive emotions here that this is where I want to stay and that this is where I want to win. If he dies, he dies.
There you go.
I mean, I know it's not the same country. Do not tweet me. Do you buy?
Well, hold on. Let me throw this to Ohm, because Ohm's the guy who's there. He's got his.
Do you buy this? Any of that?
Listen, the unicorn, okay, as we refer to him in New York, sounds a lot like Carmelo Anthony.
Who gave him that name, by the way?
Kevin Durant.
Obviously, it doesn't. He won. He won his big battle. He won against Phil. That's what he already won. That's what he wanted. He wanted Phil out. I mean, is he going to win in New York? No, it's not going to happen. He just sounds just like Carmelo. He just wants to be in New York.
The question is this Porzingis talking or his brother talking, right? I mean, Porzingis is still a young guy, okay? And for the biggest part of his career, his brother has been leading him the way. Most of the quotes you ever see from Porzingis come from his older brother, Giannis, right?
I do. That does sound like him, though.
Yeah.
As having been in a locker room,
after many conversations.
What's he supposed to say, though?
But here's my thing.
Positive.
Ohm hit it on the head. When he was upset about the way things were being run, and for better or worse, he attributed that to Phil Jackson.
Sure.
Now, if you ask me, I sit down with Kristaps and say, look, Phil was a big part of the problem, but the problem is still there because it's still the Knicks, and not much has changed. But what it seems like is that he's like, my beef was with that guy. That guy's gone. I'm willing to start.
I don't think his beef was all with Phil, though, guys. I think part of the reason why I think this deteriorated the way it did is because, look, Carmelo Anthony, he wants to go. They want him to go. I think that this idea that he would stay there is just because they haven't found a trade that they like yet. But every other guy in that locker room, they're gonna back the player. They're not gonna back the front office, especially a guy like Phil Jackson when he's made so many enemies around the league. And so Porzingis was sort of like, I just don't really want to get into all this. So I'm just gonna go and leave and not go to Mac's interview and not talk to the media because this way I don't have to deal with it.
It was a lot. I think it was Dolan. It was that whole Oakley thing.
I
think that was.
It was a mess. Plus, how does he like playing for Jeff Hornacek in that system? What's the system they're gonna run this year? I think there are so many questions that he needs to have answered, and we don't really know how he feels because most of the time it's his brother speaking for him.
But to be fair, that is a pretty big change to have the.
That's right.
I mean, if you want to point to one thing that got Phil Jackson up out of there, it was probably that Porzingis' relationship was deteriorating with the team, and at that point the team's like, whoa. Look, we love you, Phil. We don't love you that much.
Was that Dolan making a choice, picking a side?
I feel like, yeah, it has to be, right?
Along with the Carmelo thing and not like, buying him out of his contract.
Back to why Phil is out is, like, Dolan essentially said, I'm paying you a lot of money to fix things, and these are difficult problems and difficult egos, but you're getting paid that much money to fix this. So if you can't fix it, then you got to go.
I feel like I could have fixed it for $7.
I think you could have.
A year.
6.9.
Well, you fixed Marcellus.
You were going to undercut me like that?
Absolutely.
You're the worst. Ramona,
that's just my
wrangle him.
You get to leave.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Bless you. Go break some news. Do whatever you do.